Welcome to the world of health.
The actions committed by a person and the results achieved by him speak the best about a person. Academician Avakyan's work resulted in the saved lives of thousands of people in different parts of our country. Their stories of healing are so amazing that we go to meet everyone to learn the truth directly from people. Ukraine ranks second in Europe in terms of cancer prevalence. Experts believe that the consequences of the accident at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant affect the spread of cancer in our country. Almost 100,000 people die from cancer in Ukraine every year. Until now, cancer was considered incurable. Is it really so? What are the real causes of cancer and how to avoid them?
After I was diagnosed with oncology, medicine could not help me in any way. The only thing that traditional medical clinics offered me was to undergo a course of chemotherapy and become disabled.
Oncology is a terrible disease. Imagine that the sick walk on the edge of a knife, on the one hand life, and on the other death. I was going to have a surgical operation.
I told the doctor my husband will not survive the operation, he is weak. I asked the doctors, you give a guarantee that the operation will help? They answered, we do not give any guarantees.
Malignant tumors tend to spread to different organs and tissues through the blood and lymph. This phenomenon is called metastases. When a large number of tumors have formed in the body, it becomes almost impossible to treat them. Zaporozhets Igor Denisik found himself in such a situation. As the disease progressed, doctors identified 13 tumors in every vital organ in his body. The man grew up in Zaporozhye, graduated from a technical school and a radio engineering institute, served in the army, worked at a military plant, and then opened his own workshop for the repair of radio equipment. Until the age of 40 he was healthy. But one day he began to choke while walking. I walk, then fall and gasp. We are used to seeking help from doctors only when everything is very bad. I fell, an ambulance was called, and I was immediately taken to the intensive care unit. She was treated in intensive care for several days. Doctors suspected a serious diagnosis. I was sent for examination to the regional hospital. I was diagnosed with pulmonary embolism. This is a terrible disease when blood clots form in all the arteries of the lungs. My saturation level was less than 70, this is the oxygen level in the blood. With such indicators, a person practically cannot live. Oxygen tubes were connected to me and I continued the treatment in intensive care. During treatment, Igor died clinically. To find out the reasons for the appearance of thromboembolism, the doctors sent the patient for an ultrasound scan. The study showed that the tumor in the pancreas was 8 centimeters by 10 centimeters. The patient underwent an operation to remove the tumor. Histological examination showed that this is an oncological disease. 6 months later, the tumor appeared again, and the patient was again operated on to remove the tumor. But the terrible information for doctors and the patient was revealed a year later. During computed tomography, I was found to have 13 tumors in all vital organs. The doctors were shocked. With such a large number of tumors, doctors could not perform operations, offered expensive drugs and chemotherapy, but none of this helped. The tumors grew and became even bigger. Igor lost weight and weakened. The family supported Igor, but they also tolerated his illness very hard.
It was very difficult for us when we started chemotherapy. I saw how my husband became weak. In general, our whole family was in shock. We all did not know how to help Igor. Because of nerves and overwork, I ended up in the hospital. In the hospital ward, a woman was treated with me, who gave me information about the method of Academician Avakyan. Returning home, I told Igor that there is such an Academician Gagik Avakyan, very good reviews and success in treatment. We studied the information. The newspaper also had the addresses of the patients. We called patients from our area, from the city of Zaporozhye.
I began to reason logically that the pancreas is a human organ that cannot be treated with chemicals. I have read and studied that the method of Academician Avakyan increases the level of immunity of the body, cleanses the body, and helps the body itself to fight the disease. After the first course of Bionormalin, Iga felt much better, took up household chores, began to walk in nature, and eventually began to go to work. After the second course of treatment with Academician Avakyan, he passed tests for oncological markers at the oncological clinic. I received the test results from the clinic. The blood counts are within the permissible range, everything is normal. It is known that oncology is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. Oncologists are sounding the alarm and warning that if no action is taken in the next 10 years, 84 million more people will die. In-depth research is being carried out around the world to identify the causes of cancer. Scientists are trying to develop ways to treat cancerous tumors. For some time, doctors have been using chemical and radiation therapy, expensive drugs and surgery. They managed to stop the development of cancer. But soon foci and metastases appear again. In most cases, simple treatment requires money, time and health, and does not lead to a positive result. Over time, cancer remains a mystery to doctors. An oncological tumor is dangerous because it returns after a while. We need to find the cause of the problem, from what and why a cancerous tumor develops. Dr. Gagik Avakyan managed to understand the origin of cancer and oncological diseases and develop effective treatment recipes. Well-known doctors also use the Avakyan method. We met with the director of the Institute of Medical Radiology of the Academy of Sciences of Ukraine, Mykola Pilipenko. He shared his impressions about Academician Avakyan. I began to experience a terrible state, unstable heartbeat, severe pain in my heart. I took the best medicine, because there are many famous doctors around me, and I myself am a doctor, but nobody could help me. When I first saw Gagik Avakyan and took his medicine Bionormalin, for the first time I felt that my illness had passed. I fell asleep for the first time in a long time. I have seen and know how well diseases respond to treatment when they are treated by Dr. Avakyan. This is a healing gift that Gagik Avakyan possesses, and this gift must be protected. Gagik Avakyan has developed a medicine for the body. This is a unique biocomplex Bionormalin, a drug that in a very short time from 10 to 80 days reduces the level of carcinogens in the body, which prevents diseases and ultimately stops the development of oncology. If Bionormalin is used constantly, then it will be a good prevention against many diseases. Gagik Avakyan has applied his treatment technique to thousands of patients, and the results have been amazing. Gagik Avakyan constantly monitors the health of his patients, who once turned to him. That is why we have the opportunity to assert that the disease, which he managed to get rid of by his own method, does not return, and the person becomes completely healthy. I have ambitious plans for the future. I want to renovate the house. I have to work and be useful to people. The examples of these people indicate that from now on, oncology is a disease that can and should be fought at any stage. It is only important to adhere to the recipes and recommendations of Gagik Avakyan, then all the troubles and hardships will be ignored, and we will once again make sure of this in the next video.
Bionormalin, a treatment that nature gives.